Okay, sure, but Nintendo only makes Nintendos because they can sell them at big retailers like Walmart.
Oh, yeah,
Walmart's got to
basic
have that
economics.
stuff because that's how the market distributes goods to people. If
There
we
we
stopped
go.
paying for goods, what would incentivize Nintendo to make Nintendos? Who would manufacture and distribute Nintendos? Also, less importantly, all other goods. And like, I don't want to overstate my case here, but here's why all of economics is fake. It's a fake idea for rubes and fools, and there are literally no worthwhile ideas to be understood from the entire field of economics. Every economist you've ever heard of is a fraud.
Maybe. Let's see where he's going.
We would still make Nintendos because we like to have Nintendos. They're nice. Nintendo actually stopped making Nintendos like decades ago, and people still make them all the fucking time. People build enormous, expensive infrastructure to preserve and maintain abandoned software for Nintendos at great personal risk. They do it better than Nintendo does, despite Nintendo making millions of dollars from getting to do it. You literally could not stop people from making Nintendos if you tried. I know this because Nintendo has tried. And that is true of literally every single consumer good you can think of. It is someone's passion to make, to the extent that they would give up everything in their life for the chance to do it for a living. And they would find a way to do it better and more efficiently than any business could ever hope to. Also, hundreds...
What? What? People would, without a profit incentive, this guy is saying people would just at scale manufacture like garden fertilizer enough to satisfy demand. Again, this like I said, I feel dumb for even engaging with these ideas. I feel stupid for even pretending that this is something that is worth responding to. I think Gad Saad, who wrote The Parasitic Mind, in his book, quoted Thomas Jefferson or someone, some founding father, some wise guy, saying something like, the proper way to engage with certain ideas are for them to be ridiculed. To dignify an idea with like an intellectual discussion is a mistake. And this seems like one of those things. It's so laughably pathetic. You think people are going to go out and collect garbage and clean toilets because it's a passion of theirs? What kind of dumb shit, no pun intended, is that?
Hundreds of other people would find doing it pretty interesting and fun if they were allowed to do so on their own terms. People, literally, for fun, play video games about long-haul trucking, and you're seriously trying to make the argument that without the profit incentive, nobody would want to do a boring job, like trucking, or cleaning public infrastructure, or farming. Hey, economists...
I almost feel stupid for even engaging with this type of stuff. It's just like, it's like if, I don't know, it's like watching flat earth videos. You know, it's fun to like watch from the human psychology perspective, which is kind of how I'm approaching this. I'm like, I'm just genuinely curious what this person's life experience is that would cause them to believe these things. And same with a flat earther. It's like, what drives you to believe this? Because the ideas themselves are just not, they're so played out and laughable. I think the most likely thing is this guy is just an entertainer. This is what I mean by this. I'm a big fan of Star Wars. I grew up with Star Wars. It has a place in my heart, in my childhood. I don't care that much about Star Wars in any real sense, right? And I've told friends like, hey, I actually don't really care about any of this stuff. In part because Disney ruined it, but even before that. However, I can work myself, like if someone were to come on stream and we're going to debate Star Wars movies, I could very easily activate sort of a persona in me of like, no, you're fucking wrong. This Star Wars movie is good. This one's bad. Rogue One's the best, blah, 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 all these different things. And it would be like, and even if it'd be a persona, it would just be second. I would just activate that very small part of me that is really ideological about Star Wars. And I can very easily just come up with rationalizations just as I would about something I care about. So if you put yourself in that space, you can do that. And I think this guy is in the same thing where he doesn't give a shit. I mean, he makes comedy videos and I'm sure, does what normal people do and goes to the bar and buys expensive stuff and all that. And it's completely compartmentalized. But when he needs to come on and do these videos, he activates that small part of him that really does care or thinks he cares and just plays that out. It's not like some crazy thing. It's just, it's not that people can do that.
What we call Walmart is like a legal abstraction, an entity that exists solely to profit from the labor of others. Walmart doesn't do things.
An entity that exists solely to profit from the labor of others and provide food and goods to people that are poor and don't sit in this red light video studio all day. A lot of the people who are Marxist and who hate Walmart have never shopped at Walmart because chances are their rich mommy and daddy who paid for their $150,000 gender studies degree also provide them money so they don't have to shop at a place that cuts down on its costs and caters to poor people.
I digress. That's not to say that I think that theft poses no danger to retail workers. They could be forced into dangerous positions where they have to confront desperate people who might attack them. Though the obvious question that arises from that scenario is, hey, why do you think those people are so desperate in the first place? They could themselves be blamed for the theft. They could be the subject of disciplinary action for failing to prevent a theft. Longtime viewers might know that this actually happened to me. I worked at a gas station Pizza Hut. I made a video about it. Pretty exciting stuff. And when that gas station, which contained that Pizza Hut, was robbed, I done got fired about it. I've also worked many other jobs where theft was a thing that happened like all the time, and you just kind of wrote it off and went on with your day. But this time I did lose my job, you know, because they said that they claimed that I left the keys in the back door, something I don't remember doing. But whether or not anything was stolen, they'd still probably want to fire me about that on account of I'm personally...
Of someone who is not responsible enough to work at Pizza Hut. Is that a semi-joke? Is this like, look how incompetent I am, you shouldn't take anything I'm saying seriously? Because that would explain a lot of this. This reminds me of like what alcoholics do. Right? Like an alcoholic as a defense mechanism will constantly refer to themselves as an alcoholic. Oh, I drink too much. Oh, I love alcohol. I just get shit-faced every day. And it's like, you acknowledging the truth in a joking, like, manner that sounds semi-ironic is just a defense mechanism for your actual issue. And if this guy is literally not responsible enough to work at a Pizza Hut, which I don't know, maybe that's true or not, based on what he just said, leaving the keys in the door. It's kind of like, okay, so you can't even do the most basic things, and you are commenting on how the entire structure of modern society in the entire globe should utterly transform. Interesting, in my opinion.
A perhaps more fundamental question that seems to get ignored. How come the shit at Walmart belongs to Walmart? And again, not a space alien. I don't mean legally. I know that they own their stuff. I know that it's their stuff and the police won't let me have it. I mean morally, ethically. How come? Walmart's not using it. They don't need it. Why is it theirs? What moral utility does it serve that they're allowed to have it? Like, for example, I would argue that the moral basis that I get to own a Nintendo is that if somebody took it, I would be sad about that. I wouldn't be able to use my Nintendo and do the things I like to do with it. By stealing my Nintendo, you have had a direct effect on my life. Furthermore, I think owning one Nintendo is a perfectly sensible portion of Nintendos to own. I don't own an unfair portion of Nintendos. I'm owning the expected amount for my needs.
Bro, if you own one Nintendo, you own more than like, what, 50% of the third world who barely has enough food to eat? So who are you to adjudicate? I don't know why I'm getting mad. I need to examine that. See, anytime you find yourself getting upset, you should examine why that is the case, because this person has no effect on my life. I guess it's just representative of this kind of idiocy. Not that this person is dumb, but the ideas he's putting forward are, of course, dumb. This type of stuff will affect my life when people like him elect politicians who make bad decisions. Like with, for example, certain recent medical pandemics. The politicians in charge made decisions that immediately and directly affected my life in negative ways. And it's because they're incompetent. Other reasons, we didn't, that particularly, there was many things going on in the pandemic at the time. But like, the reason that I see this and it bothers me is because I know so many other people believe it. And that that incompetence, will actually come back to affect my life somehow.
So if you see someone shoplifting, no, you didn't. Thank you for watching this video from me, Thoughts.
Dislike!